Orlando Magic fans, welcome to the six-man show, Postgame Live, presented by Rockham. Your Orlando Magic fall 104-102 to the Toronto Raptors at home on this Sunday afternoon, evening, whatever it is, it doesn't matter anymore. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We are an Orlando Magic podcast. We do these after every win and every loss. And we got a lot to say. The fact that after a loss like this, there are already 117 comments. There's a lot to talk about. And at the same time, there's really not that much to talk about that hasn't already been said, but we're going to go ahead and get into it. But thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get the sponsorship segment out of the way so that we can dive into the chat. But we appreciate Rockham for being our sponsor for the six-man show, Postgame Live. They are an Orlando-based socks and underwear apparel company. They do apparel for all sorts of different things. They have plenty of stuff available for the Orlando Magic. They also have this coming up right here. I figured, might as well give a shout out to one of my favorite movies, Ratatouille. They've got all sorts of stuff. They got 2 different Ratatouille socks, which I am kind of surprised is the case, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so go ahead, check them out. And if you use code MAGIC20, then you can get 20% off of your order. Go ahead, check them out. We appreciate them for sponsoring the post-game lives, and we appreciate their affiliation with the show. So go ahead and check them out. Yeah, guys. I was already checked out long before that comeback at the end. I had a lot of things to say and a lot of directions that I wanted to take this conversation even before the comeback, because let's be honest, even if we would have come back and won that game, this wouldn't have been a game worth celebrating a win for, because it was just going to be a Band-Aid on what has been an atrocity of the last couple of months. And it's been said by me, it's been said by Matt, it's been said by J.O. on his post-game the other day, and by them on the podcast, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But we got a ton of comments to get to. There's been a couple super chats that have already come in. Matthew Thomas starts us off. What a note to start off on. This organization isn't serious about winning. Not right now. I don't understand how you can't make moves at the trade deadline. I don't understand some of the coaching decisions. But then again, I get the move on from Weltman, and I get from the move on from Mosley, but ultimately Mosley can only work with what he's being given, and he's not being given much. He's being given Paolo and Franz, as you're going to see on the stat line tonight, and he's not really being given much of anything else. So I don't know how much we can blame Mose for the job that he's doing when it's very clear that this team is not built to succeed around the star players of Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. And a super chat from Ty, Mr. TV, as well. Appreciate your support of the show. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone for being here. Man, there's a lot of you guys in here because what a frustrating way. There's a text in the six-man show chat just a few minutes ago. I was like, I'd rather lose by 40 than lose that way. To come back on, I don't even know what the final run was, because by the time the final buzzer sounded, I just wanted to get on here and start having this conversation with you guys. But to have that false hope of a comeback, and then you just knew that we were going to lose in a very magic way. And it really sucks that Franz Wagner was the one to miss that shot, because he has been so clutch and so good, and he's the best finisher around the rim that this team has. And the fact that we lost, not just the fact that we lost, but the fact that we lost like that is just awful. I'm going to go ahead and start going on through the chat. Just a lot of you guys kind of talking through the end of the game before the final comeback. Oh, man. I'm Jovi says season is over officially. I made the mistake of texting someone earlier and saying, man, before the game started, can we get to any, lower? Is this the lowest we could possibly get? And then you lose the game that way to a Raptors team. That's frustrating. You don't lose this game to a good team. You lose this game to one of the 5-6 worst teams in basketball that didn't even have Grady Dick in the second half. They're beat up. They have a couple guys who are injured. They're not even a full squad. And you were favored by 6.5 going into this game. You were at home. I don't care that you don't have Jalen Suggs. This is not a game that you lose. Period. I don't care. And it's just, you just feel so tired and exhausted and defeated to be watching this team because it's insane to think that the 13-2 stretch with Paolo injured was the same season, because this doesn't look like the same team. It doesn't feel like the same players. It doesn't feel like the same roster that's fighting every single night, that was hanging their head on the defensive side of the ball. Just so many people looking, so many people not caring, so many people just ball watching and the offense. I knew we were screwed tonight when the first play of the game we came down and Franz was ISO'd at the top of the key, and he just dribbled the ball until there was 9 seconds left on the shot clock. And then there was an offensive foul on an illegal screen, and then we gave the ball right back over. Like, I was like, that's the tone. Like, that's how you come out and set the tone. Like, that's the type of game we're dealing with here tonight. And we never had much of a lead. We didn't have much of anything to cheer for or root for tonight. It doesn't matter. This is not a 2-point loss. This might as well have been a 30-point loss, if I'm being completely honest with you. Swordfish saying the Raptors are trying their best to lose, yet we didn't win. Yeah, the Raptors are not a team that's inherently trying to win games. And I don't know if the Magic are a team that's inherently trying to win games right now either. But Damage says, wow, can't believe he missed. When I saw Franz got that ball on the inbounds and I saw him go up, I was like, I literally reacted like he had tied the game. And it took me a couple of seconds to realize that he didn't. Horrible way to end the game. I feel awful for Franz because obviously you know that he's gonna be more disappointed in himself than anything else. David T, appreciate you supporting the show, says, true Magic fan here, Magic for life. Absolutely. Like, here's the thing. Like, we're still here for a reason. People are here because we're all Magic fans. We're Magic maniacs, and it takes a special kind of Magic fan to want to hop into a post-game show and continue to dwell on that type of game. It takes a true type of sicko, as Kevin would say, to be like, hey, I just watched a pathetic 48-minute showing of basketball. Now what I want to do is I want to spend the next 45 minutes of my life with a bunch of other Magic fans that are sad talking about that game instead of being like a normal human being and getting up and moving on with your life. You want to keep talking about it. So I appreciate you guys. Everyone who's in here, as far as I'm concerned, is a true Magic fan as far as that goes. So appreciate it. Blaze just says, pain. Yep. Absolutely. Bo, great sentiment here. Said Franz missing the layup just shows how much we didn't deserve to win that game. Yeah, absolutely. If we would have come back, we had all the momentum. So I liked the idea of going for a 2 to tie because you have all the momentum potentially going into overtime. And Toronto just looked gassed, like they didn't have anything left. I liked the idea actually really, really well after timeout play run up by Mosley. Franz gets a great look, misses it, but the way we played the entire rest of the game, you can't win a basketball game just by playing the last 7 minutes. You have to have a complete effort, and that's just not what we had tonight. Let's see. I got a bone to pick with Cole Anthony. Jovi said P5 literally hates Cole making boneheaded plays. Yeah, there was a point in this game where Cole Anthony had 11 shots and Franz and Paolo combined had 15. 14, actually. It was 11 shots for Cole Anthony and a combined 14 shots for Franz and Paolo. And the problem is when Cole starts, he doesn't know what his role is. He doesn't know what his lane is. He does not understand that if he takes those first couple of shots, it is not on him to continue to try chucking shots and chucking shots and chucking shots. Usually you know with Cole Anthony within the first 2 or 3 shots of the game if it's going to be a kind of night where you're okay with him taking 12, 13, 14 shots. And it was not one of those nights. It wasn't. And I think it was all kind of the epitome of his just really awful boneheaded play tonight was when it was him, KCP, and I don't remember who it was who was following him on the fast break, but the Magic had a 3-on-1 fast break, and instead of passing it to anyone, Cole Anthony chose to take it up into the body of the defender and either passed it out and it was a turnover, or he thought he got fouled, or he missed a layup. I don't remember what it was, but that was the moment where I was just like, I was over on my couch, literally yelling at the TV, being like, that's what we're doing now? Really? And the other night, obviously, the video made its rounds on Twitter of Paolo saying, like, yelling at Cole, being like, pass the ball, right? When he went up for that terrible layup in that terrible situation and went for a foul call. And Cole's just not the type of guy who's going to get a Shea or a Paolo kind of whistle. He's not. And I just don't think he understands that. A lot of comments from Christie's and I'm Jovi. Man, a lot of comments here, guys. Daniel Hicks, another night, another disappointment. I don't understand. Like, again, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I don't understand where this team came from. I don't understand how the same team that went 13-2 after Paolo went out is the same team that played this game and lost 104-102 tonight against the Raptors. I don't get it. Luis Rosario, thanks for being part of the show tonight. He says, the issue is going down 19 against Toronto. That's when you lose the game. You didn't lose the game at the end. Yeah. This is well, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you, but this is a great point. It's I don't think anyone in here, if anyone in here is upset at Franz for missing that last shot, I get it. And in any other situation, I would understand. But the fact that you were even in a position to tie that game on that last possession, like, you did not lose this game because Franz missed that layup. You lost the game because you were down almost 20 points to one of the worst teams in the NBA. We got a super chat here. Soul Train says, I see why P5 wanted a point guard with Jalen Suggs out. As far as I'm concerned, we need a point guard with Jalen Suggs in. Like, this is, it's not, we said at the podcast at the beginning of the year where Corey Joseph was a nice veteran signing, and the only 3 situations in which Corey Joseph was ever going to see meaningful minutes on the court was if there was a tremendous amount of injuries, we were either getting blown out or we're blowing another team out, or something was going terribly wrong, and we just desperately is like, Corey Joseph, get out there. Like, let's see if Corey Joseph can do something, right? And that's what we saw tonight. Is the point guard play on this team? The guard play on this team was so bad that Mosley was forced into a situation where he was just like, screw it. Corey Joseph can't possibly be worse than anything else that we've seen tonight, so might as well. And was he infinitely better than anyone? Was he infinitely better than any of the other guard play that we had? No, he wasn't. But he wasn't worse. As far as I'm concerned, he came in the game and we came back, right? And who wasn't in the game for that last stretch? Cole wasn't in the game for that last stretch, and we came back. And I love Cole Anthony, and I'm at the point to where it's just like, I will defend players on this team to within an inch of my life because I love every single member of this team as human beings, but that does not mean that they deserve an excuse. And this is not me hating Cole as a person. This is just me being immensely, immensely, immensely frustrated at the lack of his awareness of what he needs to do in these situations. And he just refuses to make the right decision most of the time. I got to jump down a little bit here. There's over 200 comments in the chat tonight. Thank you guys so much for being a part of things. I was not expecting to have a ton of comments to go through tonight. I was expecting to just talk at 3 people. But I think the comeback really frustrated a lot of people to the point of getting on here. Rome says this can't be reality. We're supposed to be better than this. Absolutely. Gabe, got to give them props for the effort at the end there. Paolo with that huge rebound. The layup will haunt Frost for a while, though. Hope he can put it behind him. Team is definitely on the ropes. Gabe, I agree with you and I don't agree with you. I agree that it was nice that the team didn't give up. But what was the most frustrating thing about this, in my opinion, was the fact that this team clearly had this in them. And I think that it actually ticks me off more because you gave this effort over the last 7 minutes of the game and you come back when if you would have just played 90%, 80% of the way that you played over the last 7 minutes of this game, you beat the Raptors by 25. And you don't. Where was, for the first 41 minutes of the game, what we saw over the last 7? Where was it? Because it was there. The talent's there from Paolo and from Franz, right? They were finally taking shots. They were finally getting into the paint. They were finally getting to the rim. And it was like, where was this the whole game? The Raptors don't have a great person who can guard at the rim. They were drawing fouls a ton tonight. Drive to the rim. Why is Cole Anthony taking 11 shots? When you can drive to the rim. They're largely incapable. They even said in the first quarter of the game, this Raptors team fouls. They send people to the free throw line all the time. Why did we not take more advantage of that in the middle part of the game when Toronto let their lead grow to 10, 15, 20 points? So I understand your sentiment of being happy about the fact that, being happy about the fact that we showed the effort that we showed over the last couple minutes, but it just wasn't good enough for me, in my opinion, because I don't know. There's just, you got to show more effort during the rest of the game. Man. I'm going to keep going. Sorry that I'm skipping a lot of these comments in the middle. We got a lot of these to get through. A lot of talks about Franz missing the layup, but a lot more of a discussion with it being more of like a heartbroken Franz missing the layup, not blaming him, because people better not be blaming Franz for missing that layup with how much he was one of the only reasons we were even in the game tonight. Kevin said people with the Kojo slander clearly didn't watch the game. He settled the offense and was able to facilitate the comeback at the end. Absolutely. There's a reason why Cole Anthony was not in the game tonight. Let's see. A lot of comments, a lot about. Rich says, it's not the player's fault. It's not the coach's fault. Players, and Mosley, I think that everyone has a role to play in the blame. I just think that there are people who share more of the blame than others. Excuse me. And I think that Weltman, seeing this team the way it was going into the trade deadline and refusing to do anything about it, is why he deserves the majority of the blame here. But again, Mosley could still do a little bit of a better job with rotations. The players could give more effort across the board. I think that everyone has a part to play in the blame. I just don't think that, we can't say it's not the players, it's not the coach at all. Again, we saw how the team played over the last 7 minutes of the game. Clearly, they had it in them. They just chose not to. Let's see. Shaheen, appreciate it, says, or Shahin, sorry, my bad for mispronouncing. Apologies. I'd love to see more of Jet and TDS to close the season. Sigh, hang in there, guys. That's another thing that I don't understand. We saw a lot of Jet tonight, which was great. I mean, you can't say great because he wasn't awesome tonight, but TDS did a great job in a couple of games, like especially when both Franz and Paolo were out. TDS had some great moments and some great games. And I just don't understand why it's like, yep, he had, some great moments and some great games, but we're just not going to, he doesn't have a place in the rotation. I'm like, with how much this team is struggling, you have to pull out every stop. You have to pull out every single stop, because what you're doing right now clearly isn't working. It's not. I don't know. I don't understand. We saw what TDS was capable of. I just think that he deserves a little bit more run. I don't know who you drop. I'm not in the frame of mind to give advice on who you should push out of the rotation in order to give TDS more minutes. But you just got to give. You just have to figure something out, because what you're doing isn't working. And that is where I will say Mose has got to try more. Like, he can't just keep coming back to the same formula over and over and over again and expecting a different result, because that's the definition of insanity. Maddie says, losses like this, Jalen being cooked, I need the season over already. Man, it's painful, dude. It's painful. I'm ready. I don't know what this team needs to do to turn it around and for things to get better. I just don't understand. Oh man. Yeah, another comment from Maddie here says, Franz needs to hit that layup, though. Deserves some flack. But yeah, we shouldn't be in the position against Toronto of all teams. Absolutely. I think, Matt, my big thing is we've just seen Franz come through in so many different moments that it feels like this is one of the first moments of the season where he hasn't come through for us. So I'm willing to give him a little bit of grace, because, again, he was playing hard all night, relatively good defense all night. I'm not going to sit here and complain about Franz missing that layup at the end. Just a lot of comments about just frustration, honestly. We're going to go ahead and look at the box score. It's not great. I'm going to be honest. But we're going to look at it anyways. Franz Wagner finishes 9 of 17 from the field. He finishes with 25 points. Paolo, 5 of 9 from the field. I don't understand how Paolo only takes 9 shots in this game. I don't. 23 points. Paolo's a plus 12 in this game, which is great. KCP has a decent night. He finishes with 12, 1 of 2 from 3, hit a couple of pretty awesome mid-range shots, which was great in the first quarter, and then just felt like he didn't go back to that at all for the duration of the game, which is another thing that I don't understand. A couple things to point out here. I already talked ad nauseum about Cole Anthony. I'm not going to bring that back up again. Jet Howard was decent, but here's a couple of people that I want to talk about for a second. Is Anthony Black being 1 of 6 from the field with 3 fouls, a turnover, 2 assists, a rebound, right? He only had 14 minutes of game time, so I get it, but a minus 21. He did not have an effective time on the court. And then in 16 minutes, your backup center, Goga, was, 0 of 4 with 1 point, 3 fouls, and a turnover. The mystery of why does Goga Bitadze forget how to play basketball when he is not in the starting rotation? I don't know if it's a pride issue. I don't know if it's a mentality issue. I don't know what it is. But the fact that it's just like, hey, when I come off the bench, I forget how to play the game of basketball. And when I start, I'm a top 15 to 20 center in the league. But then obviously he started dropping off once Paolo and Franz went out anyway. So there's a reason why Wendell got his starting spot back. Let's go ahead and look here. You lost this game in the first quarter and in the third quarter. Being outscored 27-19 in the first against Toronto is inexcusable, and then being outscored by another 8 points, 33-25 in the third is inexcusable as well. You allow 58 points in the paint, 19 fast break points. The biggest lead you can possibly have against Toronto is 3 points, which I don't even remember when that was. But hey, at least we didn't blow another lead again, right? 21 bench points, equal on turnovers, and points off turnovers, 16-9. Was not great whatsoever. A lot more comments to go through, guys. Sorry that I didn't get to everyone's comments tonight, just because there's a lot of people just kind of hitting on a lot of the same things. The missed Franz layup at the end, frustration about the roster construction of the organization not being conducive to actually winning games. Derek says, I will no longer watch any Magic games. I feel I am bad luck. Yeah. David says, being favored at home and losing feels dirty. Absolutely. Blaze saying losing to a second-to-last team is sad. Absolutely. Again, the fact that this was only Toronto's 18th or 19th win of the season is terrible. David says, should have watched the Oscars. I'm boycotting the Oscars for personal reasons because I'm a Dune Part 2 fan, and an Oscar voter said that they didn't watch the movie, so they weren't going to vote for it, which that's a totally side comment. I'm not about to get into that. I have feelings about that as well, and I'm just as frustrated about that as I am about this game. That's not true. I'm far more frustrated about this game than I am about that. Matthew saying it's the players and coaches' fault before anyone else. Come on now, let's be serious. Again, I think everyone has a part to play in this blame. I don't think that you can point any one finger. I don't think you can say the players and the coach are completely at blame and Weltman is not to blame whatsoever. I don't think you can put the blame entirely on Weltman and not on the players and the coach. I think that everyone has a part to blame. Mose is not doing a great job of coaching. The players are not doing a great job of showing effort on the defensive side of the ball, and they're getting way too frustrated with the lack of production on the offensive side of the ball. And I do think that Weltman has a larger role to play in the blame because of his refusal to do anything, because of getting squeezed at the deadline. So dumb. So dumb. I don't understand. Yeah, Joey says, can we please send Gary Harris down to the G League and bring up Mac? We need a ball handler. Yes, we do. And Gary Harris didn't even see the floor tonight. So can't get, again, press. Are there any other buttons to press? And if so, can we please press them? Please. Because what we're doing right now clearly isn't working. So try something else. Something else. Anything else. Because what we have right now is not working. It's not happening. Sure, bring up Mac. Because what we have isn't doing it right now. Man. Blaze says the big three, AB, Mo, Tristan, Goga, are worth keeping. Everyone else can go. I don't even know if you can put Goga on that list right now, the way he played tonight. Like, again, if he's not a starting center, his numbers are not great. He's just not great, and I don't understand why. I don't understand with this roster. I don't think you can look at this roster and say that there are 7 players on this team when you're 3 or 4 games under 500 that are untouchable. I don't view it that way. I think that if you look at Paolo, you look at Franz, you look at Jalen, there's not a single other player on this team that for the right price and the right trade, I am not willing to look at a trade for. And I don't think you can be like, yeah, like we have 7 guys that are locked into the future of this team. Because that's what a team like the Thunder can say. That's what a team like the Rockets can say, right? Where they have 3, 4, 5 guys, because guess what? There is an upward trajectory and what they're doing is working. Now, granted, we had a decent year last year, right? We won 45, 47 games, and we made the 5th seed, and we had a solid 7-game series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I understand that, but, I don't think because of how poorly this season has gone, you have to build a roster around Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. And AB, I don't know if he's a point guard to build around those 3 players. I don't know. Mo, I agree, but I don't think you get rid of him just because of what that would do with the relationship with the team with Franz Wagner. I don't think... And then he obviously is... No, I think you do keep Mo because I think the energy he provides off the bench is tremendous, and we've obviously seen the lack of energy that's been off the bench since he's gone down. But Tristan and Goga... I'm not throwing Tristan and Goga on my no-trade list. I think Tristan has shown flashes of being a very high, but he's the type of player that if you're going out and getting a star, he's the type of young player that you can package into a trade to potentially get someone big to bring to the team or to get a big piece to bring into the team. He hasn't done enough to show me, oh my gosh, like he's an indispensable part of this team moving forward. Hardy says, this team sugs without Suggs. Yes, they do. I think the frustrating part is that you can't say one player coming back. Well, you can say that, but one player being out should not result in this poor of play. The Magic have a significant problem if this bad of play is attributed to one player being out on the injured list. That's not acceptable to me. You can't say, oh, one guy's out, and he's not even one of your 2-star players. You can't say one guy is out. If just Jalen Suggs being out is causing this bad of play, then there are issues in the roster construction. Because, first of all, he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy, and I'm literally wearing my Jalen Suggs jersey right now. So, I'm the biggest Jalen Suggs diehard you're going to meet, but, he hasn't proven that he can stay healthy. Last year, he played 70-plus games, and that was the only time in his career he's played 70-plus games, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, getting to some of people responding is AB is not worth keeping. I fully disagree with that. Gabe says, so are we truly eliminated from the playoffs? Ouch, who would have thought we would be saying that with how we finished last year? We're not eliminated from the playoffs. The season's not over, but it's just with the way this team is constructed, the frustration is coming from a place of we just all don't feel like even if we make the playoffs, even if we make the play-in, congratulations, you win the play-in tournament, and you get to go to a 7-game series against the defending champion Boston Celtics, or you get the 8th seed and you have to go into a 7-game series with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are significantly better than they were last year. And we just don't think that we, with the way this roster is currently constructed, have a shot. So it's like, what is there in terms of like a playoff push to be optimistic about? It's whatever. Yep. Another comment from Dalek here says, we need to start building with only Paolo and Franz in mind from now on. Them being non-shooters means they need shooters at all positions. AB is a horrendous offensive player. Get rid of him. Wouldn't go as far to say as AB is a horrendous offensive player. He is only in his 2nd year. He has shown that he can knock down threes, and I think that we can see a 3-point improvement from players like him. But I do think that, you have to make the argument, is he the point guard of the future? Because you make a great point. Franz and Paolo are not shooters. They can knock down the occasional shot, but they're never going to be 35 to 40% 3-point shooters. I don't think that's ever going to be in their repertoire. So you need a point guard who can threaten from behind the arc so that the one thing that you can do against the Magic isn't just clog the paint and congratulations, you win. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and look at the standings here in a second. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just frustrated. One last thing here. Unfortunately, I don't think AB is our future point guard. He handles is way too loose for him to be an effective lead guard. It's a skill that has proven to be one of the toughest to learn. That's true. I can hear arguments for both sides on AB. I just don't feel comfortable enough with AB to say, like, again, to include him on a list of he has done enough to prove to me that he does not deserve to be on no trade lists, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and go over here. We are going to hop on over to the standings. This is going to be painful to look at, guys. Let's go ahead and refresh this real quick. Your Orlando Magic have fallen down to the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, and we are only one full game up on the Atlanta Hawks for dropping to the 9 seed in the Eastern Conference. You are now 22 games out of first place. You are, I believe, that is 14 and a half games out of second place for Boston. You are 12 games back of New York. You are 6.5 out of 4th and 5th. You are falling quickly. And at this point, I'd be happy with just making it into the play-in and making it out of the play-in to maybe go 5 against a Cleveland or a Boston team. But I think I saw a couple comments in the chat before I hopped over here that, do we even have the ability to beat a Miami in a play-in or an Atlanta in a play-in? And right now, I'm not so sure about that. Let's look around the league, see what else we got going on. The Thunder are beating the Spurs 135 to 119 in a game that apparently no one knows how to play defense. I think that first quarter was like 41 to 38 after the end of the first. The Pelicans are up 80 to 72 on the Jazz. Clippers and Lakers game starts in about 3 minutes. LeBron James is 18 points short of 50,000 career points, which, whether or not you like LeBron, that is a pretty insane career milestone. So that game starts in about 3 minutes. If you have League Pass, feel free to check that out. Timberwolves and Suns are playing in a little bit as well. Celtics take care of business over the Nuggets, 110 to 103. Cavaliers go to overtime with the Trailblazers, who are overperforming a little bit this year at 27 and 34, and they beat Portland in overtime by 4. The Pacers take care of the Bulls, and the Knicks come back against the Heat to win 116 to 112 in Miami in overtime. Guys, we're going to get ready to wrap things up here. It's frustrating, guys. Like I said, I keep thinking back to that 13-2 stretch when Paolo went out. And we were just so hopeful about when this team gets healthy, what we were going to accomplish. And the team got healthy, and we see what's happening. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's tough to watch. It's tiring to watch. It's exhausting to watch because even the wins that we've had over the last 4 weeks haven't been fun. Like, this team has just, it feels like a grind to just watch the games because the offense is so poor and the defense isn't up to par, and it's just really, really tough. But guys, I know that everyone in here is a Magic diehard. There's a reason why you guys are here. I appreciate you guys for coming out tonight. You guys absolutely did not have to, but you guys did. Thank you guys so much for being here. We need to try something new, or else this team is just going to continue to fall. This team has underperformed so far in the year, and I don't know what the solution is, but things need to change. I know Paolo said that at a press conference after the game a couple days ago. Things need to change, and I don't know what that looks like. I really don't. We can say that there's an easy solution to this, but I don't know that there is. And it's really frustrating because we thought that we had something at the beginning of this year, and very clearly the flaws of this team are being put on show in a very, very, very major way. And we just really need to see, what this team has for the rest of the year. But obviously, we're going to keep doing the post-game lives, whether they're celebratory post-game lives or they are therapeutic post-game lives at the end. But I appreciate you guys for being here tonight. We have coming up in just a little bit on Tuesday, we get another shot at these Raptors. Really, really, really hoping that it's not a similar outcome. If this team really goes back and, again, at home, plays against the Raptors Tuesday night, and there's a similar outcome, that's going to be frustrating. But for now, thank you guys so much for being here. tough loss for the Magic, losing 104-102 against the Raptors. But we'll be back at it Tuesday night, and we will see you then. Check out Rock'em. Appreciate their affiliation. Until next time, let's go Magic. Have a great night, guys.